Okay, so I'm gonna be reading this stuff about Kemet, which is the modern day version of the ancient Egyptian religious practice they did, because I've been asked a lot of questions about it. So, and it happens to be the one I hold close to me, because it's the one I practice. So I'll be answering some stuff that are on here, and I'll be reading off my laptop because I have it all typed up and I don't feel like trying to memorize it all. But if you have any questions, just type it in comments or inbox me and I will try to answer it if this doesn't answer it all. Okay, so the introduction. Kemetic Orthodoxy is a modern practice of the religious tradition of ancient Egypt, my bad, known to its own people as Kemet, which is the African language the people gave it. This particular practice was founded by Her Holiness Hecatewey in the late 1980s, and is called Kemetic Orthodoxy after the term Kemetic of Kemet, Kemet being the ancient name of Egypt, and the Orthodox meaning a saying conforming to established doctrine, especially in religion. Though through the foundation of ancient thought and spiritual structure, devotees of Kemetic Orthodoxy follow the path their forebears first walked more than 4,000 years ago. Kemetic Orthodoxy is an African traditional religion and bears similarity to several other African and African diaspora religions, such as the West African religions of Yoruba, Akan, and Dahomian peoples, if I pronounced that right. I believe I did, of the Afro-Caribbean practices of voodoo, as well as some of the practices known from ancient northeastern Africa to ancient Near East. Practicing Kemetic Orthodoxy requires a commitment to preserving cultural heritage established in the past, which Kemetic Orthodoxy continues to represent even in places and times well removed from its original practice. The Kemetic Orthodox faith, both in its modern and ancient practice, is a monolatrous religion. Monolatry is a different concept than monotheism, where it's believed God manifests in only one form and one form only, nor is it an undifferentiated polytheism, where many gods appear in many separate and distinct forms. Monolatry is a special form of polytheism, having a multi-god structure, still providing the possibility of understanding all divine beings as part of one divine source. Monolatrous religion professes one divine force, nature, in the Kemetic language, meaning divine power. That is in turn comprised of other separate yet interlinked aspects, like a team can be defined as both just one, like the sum of its parts, and by individual members themselves. The gods and goddesses of ancient Egypt, while clearly differentiated from each other in some respects, and not as clearly in others, also each represent an aspect of Nature. The names of Nature are, in addition to being individual entities, also representative aspects of self-created one, and are parts of that whole being. Each name of Nature, like the parts of the human body, has differing structure and function, yet each part is required to constitute the entire person. How it's practiced, I will go on over now. Kemetic Orthodoxy is divided into three main categories of devotion. First is the formal worship service, comprising the state ritual These practices are perhaps the best known from antiquity due to their preservation in source material and upon the very walls of the ancient temples in Egypt. Changed only very slightly over the millennia, these conservative rites are preserved by the Kemetic Orthodox priesthood as closely to the original practice as possible. Illustrative of these formal rites is the rite of House of the Morning, a daily greeting of the sunrise along with invocations and praise to Nedir for a new day. Each sunrise is significant as a physical and symbolic representation of the eternal reassurance that Mahet, a central concept of the faith denoting universal order and truth in an absolute sense, have been preserved and that life will continue to exist. The second category of worship is personal piety, the devotional practice of all followers, including priests and laymen. The foundation of Kemetic Orthodox faith is found in a universal rite called Sunnat, which is a shrine. Every devotee, whether a congregant or a priest, even the priestess herself, performs a daily set of prayers in established household shrine to communicate with and worship nature. While this ritual is simple in comparison to the pomp and fanfare of the state rites, it forms the backbone of Kemetic Orthodoxy's entire ritual practice and constitutes its most important sacrament. The third category of worship involves ancestral devotion. Aku, or the Blessed Dead, are one step closer to Nedir than mortal man. In revering and remembering our ancestors and loved ones who have passed on, they live forever. We leave offerings to our ancestors and venerate them so that they in turn will protect and look kindly upon us. Which makes sense if you think about it. If you even try to give it any thought. Now I will be going over the family life. As in antiquity, family and family life are very important to the Kemetic Orthodoxy. The House of Nedir, currently the main temple of the faith, has members all over the U.S. and in 15 other countries worldwide. We have a live ministry house of worship in Chicago. The House of Nedir, that's what it's called. There's also distance learning and ministry on the internet, and I will provide a link below for that. And it provides internet-based support and services like discussions and private message boards and libraries and such. Where the church is also expanding for a youth ministry, since there's been a number of children who've joined and been born into the religion, so they're doing that too. But if your parents aren't into it, but there's children that want to do it, you have to have parental consent if you're under 18, just to not mess with any laws or anything. Now, becoming the Kemetic Orthodox is what I will be coming over now. Kemetic Orthodoxy is primarily a religion of converts, and we enjoy slow, steady growth as, you know, we don't actively recruit members or do missionary work. I will be putting another website link below for a website that gives like daily devotions and stuff like that, and you can learn more about this Orthodox and stuff. And at the present, the membership draws from around the globe. So the internet unites a large segment of the devotees, as the House of Neder is a temple of African traditional religion and not a mystery school or study group. Membership represents more than simply an education in Kemetic Orthodoxy. A potential member is first enrolled in a pre-beginner's course for approximately 4 months, during which she or he is provided with education on the faith and an introduction to the community. After completion of the beginner's course, a potential member may opt to continue on as a community member without formal commitment to the religion as Remej, which is the ancient word for the people of Kemet. If further dedication is desired or indicated, the Remej can choose to formally convert to the Kemetic Orthodox religion and undergo a divination and initiation as Semeshu, or follower, which is a formal member and after training, potentially a lay priest of Kemetic Orthodoxy. In order to maintain met and respect to all religious choices, including our own, we don't ask members to renounce any previous or current religious beliefs, ordinations, or other titles, gained in other faiths. Although Shamsu undergo a rite of initiation dedicating them to specifically the service of a particular god or goddess, and generally make a commitment to Nezher, setting aside behind previous non-Kemetic Orthodox work as part of that vow. I'm so sorry, I'm not doing good, it's 2 a.m. The Remej members don't take that vow and are not bound by the oaths. Persons who, after probation or any time during their sojourn with the faith, conclude that Kemetic Orthodoxy is not their spiritual path, are supplied with guidance on where to achieve that as best as can be supplied, and don't believe our faith to be the one and only path to spiritual success, and we believe it's not for everybody. There's an online ministry for the House of Nezher, which is extensive. It has a 24-hour emotional and spiritual support and counseling. It has daily, weekly, bi-weekly chats for the internet. It has fellowship and ritual at all membership levels, structured courses and religious topics, and there's the distance worship, which is online ritual, and it's coven twice monthly in the form of a chat called the Dua. So that's that. It's not just something to take lightly. I find it very close to me, and I don't take it lightly. I hold it really close to my heart, and I actually have a prayer book that has chants and prayers and invocations and the such for daily worship and everything, so we can give honor to the gods and the goddesses and stuff. That's it for now, because I'm at the 15-minute mark. if you have any more questions, just let me know, and I'll try to answer them if I can when I get to them. Okay, bye guys.